Welcome everyone to another video of Vinyl Addict, and this is Chili. And Ice Cube is in the news recently for the last week or so, doing his podcast tour, and I'm gonna get into that. But before I start that, please don't forget to hit the like button, comment on this video, share this video, and if you still haven't, please subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell for updates. Okay, so with that out of the way, so yes, Ice Cube is making news and making his tour and talking about the cesspool of Hollywood. And, I haven't done a video on non-woke, uncancelable artists. It's been a minute. And so this would be number 5 on Ice Cube. And, he has been part of, I wouldn't say he been part of Hollywood as far as in the machine itself, because he says he's never been in the club because he does make his own films. He's always been independent, and he was on Joe Rogan stating this, that he's been on record labels like Profile. Is that what this record label? Priority. And so he never really answered to the powers that be, because we'll talk about his music. I mean, his early albums, because they would pretty much, I don't know if they would be deemed anti-Semitic, some of the things that he says, but I guess being an independent artist, he's just been walking and marching to the beat of his own drum, and that includes films. So what happened with him is that he wasn't complying with taking a jab and for a film, just acting in a film. So, he turned down $9 million. And the powers that be wanted to make him an example and pretty much put out a narrative out there that, Ice Cube is dumb, not taking this $9 million, and doing this film. And the one thing is that he said was he never told anybody about that situation. They put it out. He never said, take the jab, don't take the jab. He was never a spokesperson for that. He said, it's none of my business kind of thing. Whatever anybody wants to do, that's what they want to do. This is what I want to do, and I don't want to take that. So when it comes to just acting in films, so what he pretty much said was all the producers in Hollywood pretty much had that mandate. And since he makes his own films, he doesn't have to do that, and just like this one here, Friday, he talked about Friday being his first film and how he got into the whole film thing, because he wasn't that guy. He was pretty much just a rapper, and John Singleton from the director from Boys in the Hood, he wanted him in that film. He saw something in him, and then he later on just kept telling him to write his own films. And so now we have Cube Vision, so he doesn't really have to answer to anybody, and so he could get out there and do these videos and speak upon what's really going on from his world, and letting everybody know pretty much where he stands and all this, that he didn't even want to be in the club, and that they're more pissed off when you don't want to be in the club, because if you're in the club, and then they could tell you what to do and what to say and whatnot. And that's why someone like Jamie Foxx, who's just an actor, was reportedly didn't want to take the jab, and because he's just an actor, he doesn't make his own films, he's not a director, he complied to take the money, and as what people would say, he sold out. And whatever's happening to him right now, if it has anything connected with that jab, that's on him. And that's just because he is being one of the gatekeepers, and there's always going to be people surrounding him, not letting him speak, and because we've seen some of these kinds of things come out, whether it was in sports or just like Madonna is now someone that's just no one is coming forward in her group. It's sort of like they're just kind of keeping it really, really under lock and key, and it brings up more suspicion. If anything, at least they could just come out. I mean, they do come out and lie, but at least show a picture or something. Prop them up or whatever. Um, and it's always kind of like a third person kind of narration, or sort of like, oh, his daughter said he's doing fine, and they'll just kind of throw that up. But however, that's Ice Cube is not going through that, and he turned down the $9 million, and so he just pretty much makes movies that he wants to make. But he was also talking about um, Bud Light, and he was talking about just about a lot of things regarding the where we are as far as wokeness is concerned, and it was very interesting what he was saying about Bud Light, how his take on it was like, who is it really hurting? Because yes, the boycott is just the targeted market is pretty much saying, you know what, we don't like you shoving stuff into our face of LGBT kind of propaganda stuff, putting this guy on our beer cans and whatnot. And he was just pretty much talking about like, yeah, people don't care about that, we just want to have a beer with your buddies. But it also was that the distributors, the people who drive, the middle class people who have the jobs and who have all the families are the ones hurting for the people that are working in Bud Light. They have to lose their jobs, and the people on top still have their bonuses and whatnot. And I think because they're trying to comply with this ESG thing, where businesses have to show how woke they really are for a credit system, and they keep on doubling down anyway. And perhaps they know as well as that the next group of consumers for Bud Light are people out of high school and who are already been indoctrinated with all this kind of propaganda regarding LGBT and wokeness. And so they pretty much don't really care about the people that are drinking Bud Light now. Out with the old. That's the old guard. Let's. They're grooming these new kids. In high school and whatnot. But there has been somewhat of a revolt with that as well. But for the most part, they're thinking in the future, so they don't really care. This is what I feel. They don't really care about Joe Schmo, Joe Sixpack coming out of his job right now and turning down Bud Light and drinking Coors. They're more concerned about the 18-year-olds listening to Lizzo, 17-year-olds listening to Lizzo, whatever, and into that scene, that whole thing. So, Ice Cube, his music, it's always been. I don't think his music today, as far as their standards is concerned, he speaks openly about Jews and like especially on this album here, and I think they wouldn't care about the songs that he wrote about white America killing white people or whatever. They don't really care about that because they hate white people as well, and which is weird. White liberals hate they do hate themselves. You're right. So so this stuff is pretty much okay with that. The death certificate. But however, his later stuff, like Why We Thugs, is more political than this. This could be viewed as very political, death certificate. But however, I always felt he got more in depth about the New World Order and different kinds of the cabal, and he started really going more deep in his political rants in his music, especially on the album Raw Footage. If you ever heard that album, that is yeah, he's really going in deep on that. So yeah, I gotta give it up to Ice Cube, you know, for just standing his ground, and you know, he is a great example, and he's talking about standing up to when it's your time, you got to do something. You know, you just can't just sit down and take it. And he has that example with his son, and you know, they could take away his, you know, their you know, he's trying to leave a legacy not only with you know his work and everything, but you know, as far as keeping the family, his generations to come, taken care of. You know, this is a business where you know you could just be blackballed, and if you're not playing the game, and he just happened to be in a position where he's not Monique, okay, because Monique didn't comply after winning an Oscar for the movie Precious, and she didn't want to do some sort of Cannes Film Festival appearance. She wanted to be with her family, and Oprah was like, no, she's a gatekeeper. She's just like, you're not going to work anywhere, and this and that. And Tyler Perry got involved with all that. And so, you know, it's just like that whole group. And, you know, Ice Cube always was open about not liking Oprah Winfrey as well. And she's pretty demonic. So, you know, kudos to Cube, you know, because he is someone that we need to people need to be more like him in that business and come forward and just, you know, speak upon these things. And you know, but I think everyone kind of sees it now more. It's more evident, and it is because of people like Ice Cube, and I believe Mel Gibson was someone like him because he was canceled, and he makes his own films, and that's why he could still you know, he could do what he wants to do, make the films he wants to make, and even though if it's, you know, talking about them, the club, and the people in that cesspool, you know, yeah, he's in that position to do that, and because he makes his own films as well. You know, he's not just an actor. You know, so that is my video today on non-woke and uncancelable artists number 5. That's Ice Cube. What are your thoughts on Ice Cube? And do you think he is pretty much setting an example, and you think more artists like him should come forward? And with that, I'll shut up, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.